this. The reason why I thought might be a good idea, ladies and gentlemen, to have a meeting is I will be gone from probably November 17th until sometime in late December. All right. So during that time, you're going to get more interns to help out. And I want you guys to think also more strategically about delegation. Okay, so one of the first things I'll have a quick discussion at is let's talk about what each of us do, right? What does Gani do? What does Rizal do? What does everyone do? Let's start with Gani first. Gani, what do you do here? What is your role?
Okay, so I'm in charge on the B funnel of the marketing funnel, which is a conversion. So fill in the boxes, fill in the inbox, like on the website, like turn the impression into
Yep.
into leads, and it's applied also on the sales side as well.
Okay. All right. So on marketing and also on the sales funnels. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go to Aldo. Aldo, what do you do?
I'm working on the middle to lower funnel where I convert the leads into an actual meeting.
Okay. Rizal, what do you do?
Working on a funnel and then doing market research for the new upcoming market.
Okay. All right. That's not the correct answer, any of you. The correct answer is you guys are doing everything on these SLAs. So you're very underestimating your scope of responsibilities, I think, right? For example, Aldo does photo shoots, right? He requests for photo shoots done within 5 days. He also requests listing correction within 2 days, and that's part of an internal SLA. The most important thing is you remember that whatever you do, make sure it's on the SLA. And when you report what you do, look at the SLA. Okay, that's what it's there for. This is the number one problem I see here, is that you guys will underestimate what you do and then be like, oh, I'm overwhelmed later. I'm too busy. So it's better to really have a more comprehensive structure of what you do. Yes, what you do on the daily sync up, or let's say on the sync ups that we do, is mostly about marketing supply. But there's also content duties, and there's also these other, sometimes Gani has sales duties that he's also participating in, and you should keep that conscious, okay? If you're not conscious of it, then it's really hard to delegate, all right? So that's one. What do I do? Let's go to Rizal. What do I do here?
Jing?
Yeah.
You basically monitoring us, and then basically if there's anything it's not correct, you make it align with the mission.
Okay. Check for accuracy. Okay. Let's go to Aldo. What do I do here?
Okay, according to the SLA, you're not in charge of any SLAs.
That's right.
In marketing.
That's right.
But for the role itself, I think it's for supervisory and also the monitoring and aligning our works with the missions.
Excellent. Okay, Aldo caught it. I don't have a job description. I don't have an SLA at the moment, actually. So that should probably be put down if I want to delegate, right? Okay. Next, over to Gani. What do I do here?
Mostly same with Aldo, but more do the analytic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's a good point. All right, here's what I think I do. What I think I do here is, or let me just describe everybody. Everybody else, I think you do what is already in the marketing SLA. So just use that as your home base for understanding what you do. Okay. And for myself, these are sort of things I see. Remember the stack of leadership, right? So discover, prioritize, problem solve, execute. Okay. I do mostly strategic discovery. I try to find what's the biggest problem and then I try to find what's the biggest opportunity. Okay. Currently, maybe I'll let you guys try it on your own and see what it's like, right? But currently, I don't see it necessarily even being detected sometimes. What is the problems that you're having as a group, and what is the opportunity biggest as a group? Perhaps it's related to my visibility. I have more visibility across, like, say, different parts of the company. Maybe more context as well over like a longer history. But that's kind of like what I do. I also do strategic prioritization. All right. So who should work on what first, and kind of how to get the most out of the chapter? Okay. I know that's very vague, but that's in general what I'm trying to do. Okay. These are like kind of like the two layers. Execution, I think you guys do really well. And problem solving, for tactical problem solving, I think most of the time that's actually really well done too as well. But strategic, like let's say, for example, we have new people coming in, or we have this new opportunity, or the market's about to shift right now. Maybe we need to go into a different gear. I don't think you guys are ready for that yet. All right, so that gives a little bit of a clearer picture of what I do. Does anybody have any comments about what I do or what anybody else does? Let's go to Rizal. Do you have any comments about what everybody else does and what I do?
I think it's pretty clear based on the marketing SLA.
Okay, all right, let's go to Gunny.
It's pretty clear, but also I already read some comment on discussion below there about a marketing leader should be involved in top of funnel with BD and sales as well. So yeah, I read on that. So
Okay.
So yeah, that's my what I can see there.
Okay, very good. Gunny, go ahead and put that on to your discussion part here, right? So hit that up and write that in. Let's go to Aldo.
In my opinion, yeah, I think it's alright. It's pretty much sums up what you've been doing and also what we've been doing in this chapter.
Okay, great. All right, now let's go to the most important person, which is Grace. Okay, come on, some humor, right? Grace represents the future for you guys, right? So if you guys want to progress in your careers, you're going to have to think a lot about how you're delegating to new people. Okay, let's go to Grace. Grace, what do you think you do here?
I'm doing the Instagram and sometimes Facebook drop listing.
Okay,
I'm doing the Instagram.
doing Instagram, okay.
And sometimes Facebook drop listing, and currently China market research.
Okay, what I heard was Instagram probe listings and something marketing.
Yes, China market research.
Chinese market research.
Oh, Chinese market research. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go over to Rizal. What's the problem with what Grace just actually said?
The problem basically, we don't put any SLAs that on our
Right.
marketing. Yeah,
That's right.
we don't put that in the SLA.
Okay, let's go over to Gunny. Gunny, what else do you see is a problem with Grace? What Grace just said?
Need to involve on BD, right?
Okay, say that again. The audio broke up a little bit.
Need to involve on the business development.
Okay, okay, a little bit warmer. Let's go over to Aldo. Aldo, what's missing from what Grace just said?
In my opinion, same with Mas Rizal, that Grace hasn't been assigned for on the current SLS that we have right now.
Okay, good. Rizal, you're right. Aldo, you're right, right? There is no SLA delegation, right? That's number one. Number two, it's even more important. There's no objective.
Yeah.
Okay? Grace just talked about, I'm working on Instagram, I'm working on probe listings, I'm working on Chinese market research. So Grace is not thinking of mission first. She's thinking activity first right now. The better answer from Grace should have been, I'm working on Instagram to get us more revenue, right? Or I'm trying to get more revenue by using Instagram probe listings and Chinese market research. That would be a clearer understanding of the mission. But the way she described it was, I'm doing these activities. And activities, once again, is not the end goal. The end goal is to support the mission, right? Or if she had said, I'm trying to get new properties so that we can support the goal of inspiring guests, that would have been better. But by saying that I'm working on 3 activities indicates that it has not been clearly delegated. And that goes back to the SLA. That's the difference between activity and SLA. SLA has a mission, activity has no mission. Okay? All right. So I think that part is something that when we delegate, that needs to be very conscious. Okay. Next thing, since we're all clear what everyone does, this is the next step that I want you guys to start working about. And I mean guys as in the permanent members of this chapter, okay? I'm going to show you an example. And I want you guys to understand the example and start making more of these for yourself. Gunny, thank you very much. So currently, we are able to see pretty much the entire stack of all the SLAs that everyone does using this new board. Is that correct, Gunny?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Except it's not exactly correct because take a look at here, right? Here's an SLA, content request. It's by Aldo. Over here, there's no content request SLA here, right, on the board. There's Deep Content Doctor, but I'm not even sure if that's an SLA actually. Let me go over to result. Result. Is Deep Content Doctor an SLA?
Not yet, sir.
Maybe it should be an SLA, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is the expectation? It's an internal SLA, but it should probably be there. Okay, so one then, it theoretically is okay, Gunny, at least framework-wise, but the details are not there. The details should always be there. Photo shoot, HAR request, instant book rate, these are all SLAs and they need to be mapped to the Trello board if we're really going to understand our own bandwidth, all right? So that later when we say, oh, we're too busy, when we look on this board, we can see, yup, you are too busy. You are in 6 cards, right? It's apparent. And then that creates also the awareness that maybe it's time for you to delegate that SLA to a new person, right? So that they can pick it up. All right. So if we need to have coordination between reality and reality, right? This right now here, this document marketing SLA is the plan. This over here on the Trello is how we're executing the plan. There should be alignment between the plan and the way we execute. Because if you don't, then you'll always not create the correct budget or timing or the right people or whatever for your plan, okay? So that part needs to align. Gunny, or if you are in charge of an SLA, just please start bringing over these campaign cards over to the Trello board so that we know what you're responsible for. If you're doing an SLA that is not in this paper here, please put it there so that we understand what you're working on, okay? This way there will be alignment. When you need somebody, you will say, I need a delegate for SLA 5, the one that I'm working on. I need a delegate for SLA 6, the one that Aldo's working on. And that way HR also knows how to recruit the people to best serve you, right? You also, the best part is, this is my transition. Currently, the problem that we have, the bias in our company, is that we believe any new person is competent and motivated until proven otherwise. That is not a good assumption. That is a very dangerous assumption. You should assume the opposite. You should assume any new person is not competent and not motivated until proven that they are competent and are motivated. The reason you should do that is not to look down on anybody, but it's you are working with facts and not assumption. Otherwise, you're working on assumptions. You're working on hopes and dreams that this person will do something that they have not proven themselves capable or willing to do, right? Competency and motivation. Which brings me to my final point. During trials, I prefer not to see so much pairing and talking and all this blah 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 between intern and mentee. It should be actually very simple. All right. So it should be, all right, you're here as an intern. I would like to delegate these 3 things over to you. And on the basis of that, that will be our idea of how we select you to become part of this internship. I'd like you to briefly introduce you to these particular things I'd like to delegate to you. Delegate number 1. Okay, let's say, for example, let's go back in time. Everyone remembers Haspi, right, Aldo? Okay, let's remember Haspi. The time Haspi was here, we don't have any way of knowing if Haspi is making progress. We don't know if Haspi's work is doing any good. Haspi doesn't know if Haspi's work is doing any good. But let's imagine Haspi's here today. Let's imagine this is day 0. He's going to shadow Aldo. So Aldo would just simply pull up this card. He says, you know what, Haspi? Before you've even arrived, I've thought about what you need to do. SEO is part of upper funnel work. It belongs to the website campaign. So you are going to be working on MI3 campaign at the upper level on awareness to do SEO. So we're going to create a code that's MI3 layer A1 because this is one of the ways that we will get more awareness into the funnel. So it belongs to Gani as project champion, as campaign champion, but it also belongs to Resolve as SLA layer. Okay, this is awareness campaign. So what do? We need to have a clear plan for Haspi. Okay, so we tell Haspi, this is what you're going to do. What you're going to do is already set up. This is the key metric of success. You're going to raise the total amount of organic traffic coming into our site. So if you're doing that, it means that whatever you're doing is working. You're getting more organic traffic, all right? If that number starts going down, it means whatever you're doing is not working. You need to think of a way to get it to work again. So let's break down what it means by SEO. So you're going to go and look for backlink sources. You're going to research and find where should we get backlinks. You're going to then go outreach to partners for backlinks. You're going to get their responses back, and then you're going to get these backlinks done for us. You don't know how to do this? That's okay. Guess what? I have this paper, and it explains all the steps you need to do in order to get this job done. Okay, so what I've done, Haspi, is I've recorded a tutorial showing you how I get a backlink using all the processes here. If you need to have it spelled out for you, here's the method. Step 1, go to Google. Step 2, find the websites that rank high for the keywords. Step 3, go to Ahrefs. Find the sites and the backlink sites going to the top ranked sites on Google. Then write down a list of the sites, reach out to the sites for a submission, and then check back to the site to see if it works. Here's the video, here's the instructions, and when you have results, start filling in here, and then update on your campaign Trello what the results are. I've done the first 2 for you. You can do the rest on your own. I should see maybe about 6 or 7 or whatever number of progress by the end of the week in terms of your backlinks. Okay? Done. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken something that was kind of abstract, I've identified it, I've systematized it, I've classified it, and I've given it to my delegate to do. Now, Haspi at the end of day 3, I will see if he can do this. If he has had no backlinks or no progress, I know he's not competent, right? I know that he had no upper funnel activity. I also know that he's probably not motivated. So I can make a quick decision whether Haspi is competent or motivated, not based on my guess, not based on theory, but really based on just fact. Can he actually do the job, right? Now, there's other campaigns you can do. Let's say for Google Ads, somebody's feeling more ambitious. They want to do Google Ads. It's the same thing, right? So how many keywords have you planned? How many audiences have you planned? How much messaging have you planned? How many ads have you published? And what's the total number of visits? What's the CTR? What's the CPC, cost per click, click-through rate? That's how we know if somebody can competently do this particular work, okay? What I need from you guys is this. I need you guys to break down all the chunks of work that you're currently doing. I need you also to break down the chunks of work that you aspire to do, right? Okay? And what you should be seeing is this. You should be moving the things that you're currently doing into the delegate's corner. You know how it should be done. You know what success looks like. You know what motivation looks like, right? So those pieces ideally are in your ZPD. Those are the things that you can really mentor somebody well on. Think about delegating, okay? Then take the things you aspire to do. Like you want to get better at ads, okay, get better at ads. You want to do something else, whatever, do something else. But write down that thing into a box, figure out what the stages of it are, figure out what your KPI is, and then if you know how to do it, record a video of yourself doing it and the steps to do it. That way, each time you're doing something, it's also instantaneously delegable, right? So it doesn't take very long to train somebody. In fact, the training is self-training. I don't have to like talk to Haspi anymore. I just have to show them this, learn from this, come back to me if you have any questions. I should see some progress by the end of the day. Done. Okay? So what that means is a few steps. Step one, move over all the things that you have on the SLAs over to the Trello board. Step two, break those things down into steps, right? So that you can look and delegate those to somebody that doesn't know how to do it. Step three, create a tutorial, okay? Make a quick tutorial on how this should be done and then publish it on YouTube, put it on a paper, and then give this tutorial to a new person. If you gentlemen do this correctly, marketing will explode like crazy. You should be able to get graphics people working on Instagram content, right? The graphics, let's say for example, Grace is part of the funnel. You can think, all right, what I'd like to delegate to you, let's say I'm Gani, is I like you to create very amazing content on Instagram to get more engagement. So here's the brand book. Here's an example of engaging content. Here's an example of non-engaging content. Here's Chris Doe's little video on how to create engaging content. And here you go. You start practicing, right? What I need to see is I need to see 10% improvement on likes and engagements after you start posting. And if you can't get the 10%, I need to just see like you post 3 times or 4 times, and each post just needs to get higher engagement than your previous post. So that way, it's very easy to understand. And by the time they start their trials, they already know what to do because they are working on this already, okay? Now, every intern that comes in should delegate them a few different things. 2 things that we've noticed. Interns don't always know what they really want to do. 2, interns don't really know what they're really good at sometimes. So we should give them a cross-section of different things, not believing that they know what they know how to do. I mean, most people, they think marketing is one thing, but when they actually do marketing, it's something different. So this is very much a how do you manage unconscious incompetence, right? You don't know something that you don't know. You're going to have to figure it out through tests as a more senior person. You're going to have to test the person. Maybe they think they're good at design, but it doesn't show. No matter what they design, it goes out there, nobody clicks on it. So, but maybe they're better copywriter than they thought, and that's where they need to go. So this is the basis of how we should conduct future trials. Think about the opportunities in your own career. The more you can delegate, the more you actually become a leader. The more you become like a leader, the more you get to do things that you really want to do and not just the things that you have to do all the time, okay? All right, does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so Rizal, I need you to then help the rest of the team execute this. What I want to see, right, by let's say Friday next week, you guys have a whole week to work on this, is this. I want to see all the things that like are on the SLA brought over to this Trello board, okay? I want then for each particular card to have as much supporting material as possible so that a new person can understand how to do it. I'd like anybody who is seriously considering about delegating something that they're already doing, perhaps, for example, Rizal, you are getting together a phone list for this campaign, right? Maybe you create a separate intern card, like over here, what I've done, right? Internship campaign for just getting phone lists. So what is the phone list SLA? I'd like to delegate it to this new person. Can you get 16 new numbers every day, right? Or whatever that might be. Domestic, international, whatever, right? So then that part you can delegate off of this particular campaign. Maybe Aldo. We got some new people here, right? We got Bill, we got Alberta. Is it Alberta? What's her name? Yeah, Bill and Alberta. Maybe it's time to bring them in and say, all right, Bill, Alberta, I'd like to see how good you are at actually getting these leads and turning them into meetings. So I'm going to delegate whatever, right? these number of leads you will convert into meetings, and thus you will free up some of your time to do other things too as well, right? And if they can do it, then you know that they can do it because you'll see the conversions start running. Okay, you'll see the conversion rate start going up. Actually, it's very easy to see, Aldo. In your case, you just switch over, and then you note the date when you delegated it, and then we'll just take a look at funnel B or funnel C and see if the percentage does it go up or down. If it goes up, then you have essentially you have a really good delegate, right? You have somebody who can do the job better than you, so then you get to be a manager, right? If they can't, then you'll know as well. Okay, so that's essentially the nature of how we should practice delegating. Okay, think about what it is the task is. Think about how you would represent and teach somebody the task. Write it down so that it can be, it can be transferred quickly, and that's pretty much it. This finished board should have this. I'd like to see everybody delegate one thing to an intern. Okay, think about one thing you'd like to delegate and start creating cards like this onto the board. I'll take a look at it before I go, mainly just to check if your KPIs are done correctly and if your stages are done correctly too. Okay, and if they are, then it's good. Then you should be able to easily delegate it to whoever comes down the line next. And also, HR will know exactly what kind of person you're going to need. Okay? All right. Okay, questions. Good. Okay, let's go to Rizal first. Rizal, question.
Okay, so I think from the breakdown it's pretty clear, but yeah, basically, if on the trial part, should we have to assign only one
No,
SMS project or any?
multiple. I think you should use multiple SLAs because the reason why. Does anybody know the reason why we should assign multiple SLAs? Let's go over to Gani. Gani, why should we assign multiple SLAs to the candidate?
Yeah, to understand what are they really good at. I mean, most of them is good at upper funnel, and some of them is in the middle. Yeah, we have to try.
Okay, very good. Aldo, what do you think?
Yeah, I think basically it's more of understanding your ZPD and what they're good at and what they're lacking of.
Very good. Okay. Let me give you a practical case that happened recently. Okay. So if you give them one SLA, right, just one, and they can't do it, does that mean you should dismiss them? Right? Maybe they could have been good at something else, right? So you never know. The best thing is give them a range of it's like university, right? You can take a bunch of classes, find the classes you get A's in. That's probably what you're good at, and then that's probably maybe what you should study, right? And maybe major in. So it doesn't mean that if they can't do one SLA, it means we should throw them away. Maybe you find that they're actually good at something. And you'll also see different amounts of motivation with different amounts of whatever. So I think it's good to give a range of SLAs. Mostly, I think 50% can be the intern's own choice. Actually, probably 40% the intern's choice, 60% we choose for them, right? Generally speaking, interns will be like, I heard about SEO. That's the one thing I know. But when they find out that SEO is a lot of outreach, maybe that's not what they're good at, right? That might not be what they thought SEO actually meant. Yeah, I want to do Instagram, but they went and I realized Instagram's like actually about visual content creation. Maybe that's not what they're good at. And then once again, there's no match, right? It's like when you want to join the army, everyone thinks, oh yeah, I joined the army. I get to like ride around in helicopters and blow up buildings. But what you actually do in the army is you carry a lot of heavy things around and you walk around everywhere. That's what you just go on unpaid hikes all the time. So quite different from reality. Okay, anyway. Okay, so that answers. Gani, what was your question?
Okay, my question would be, if we put the SLA there, the card of SLA there, should we put on the revenue campaign column or apa or partnership column or on our names under our names?
I think. Good question. I think you should put the SLAs on your names if it doesn't affect revenue, right?
Oh,
Well, not directly affect revenue. Okay, okay, the Each one, like partnership is just for partnerships, right? So any content stuff, that isn't involved in that. You should put that on content progression campaigns, right?
Okay.
Okay. For example, HR content requests. This stuff, that does not belong on partnership campaign or revenue campaign. That is more of a content campaign, okay? That's content type work. So that just belongs there. Setting auto pay, that's probably content as well, right? That doesn't have anything to do with revenue or whatever. Content for community, that's probably content as well, right? So those SLAs that are not related to, let's say, revenue production, those go on those lists. On-site documentation, not sure what that's about, but that's definitely not revenue. So that's content as well. Listing conversion, getting booking after launch. This is probably more to do with revenue campaigns, right? So these should probably go over there. Okay,
So
so
our name is just pivot.
your SLAs and your pivots. How about that? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Or better yet, maybe just make a new list of what category these SLAs belong to. So these SLAs up here, these internal SLAs are related to campaigns related to revenue. Okay. The other SLAs are just internal SLAs. So maybe you just put internal SLA as a list and just start putting those in. Make sense, Yanni?
Yep.
And then pivots, just keep on your own list, okay?
Okay.
Don't put your SLAs on your list because those should be delegable, right? SLAs should be able to be delegated. Pivots are things that you create on your own ideas. Those are not really delegable. Okay, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, Aldo.
Yep. My question is mainly about the SLA itself. So, for the marketing itself, yes, we have the campaign on the partnership and revenue, but I think from the rest of the SLA is more of like the operations rather than something that there's like I don't think there's something like the updates. I can see the feasibility of how we update like the SLA or things.
Okay. This one is actually pretty simple. The other SLA is just, let's say, content request, right? Let's say instead of you doing content request, you delegate it to Grace. And then essentially the updates are pretty simple, right? How many new requests requested? How many new requests processing? How many requests finished? That's it, right? So then you would know from looking at a quick count of that if there's, you're there to actually create some visibility. That's what the visualization's for. So if we don't visualize the SLA, then we don't know, right? And you can also know, like, for example, right? Is it conceivable that in a month we get no new requests? Probably not, right? But you're not going to know that unless somebody reports to you, 45, 45, 45 each time. So that's what you're really just looking at. You're just looking to see if there's any activity on that SLA, and that activity is getting finished. So just like that. Number of total requests, number of requests being processed, number of finished requests. And that should always be done, right? Very quickly within 2 weeks. So if you see it's like 50, 45, and then 35, and it stays that way for 3 weeks, then you know that there's a problem with that SLA, because that SLA should be actually 45, 45, 45, right? All done at a certain point. Okay. Okay. So that's how you monitor if an SLA, operational SLA, is being done correctly. And that's how you delegate also, Aldo, because if you can't visualize it, you won't know what's happening. And somebody needs to count it to keep track. So that can be delegated to an intern. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But that was a really good question, Aldo. The question that I hope to get from a lot of you will be, what are the stages of the SLA that I need to track, right? So what's stage 1, what's stage 2, what's stage 3, and what's the end KPI I need to track, right? For a content request, it's how many requests have been finished within 2 weeks? What's the percentage? Or within 5 days? What's the percentage? There's always going to be some that are not finished, right? That's okay. We're not saying that we're always Supermen, but we need to keep that within a certain percentage, okay? And that, Aldo, becomes your true SLA. Not we get every content request finished within 5 days, but we get 95% of our requests finished within 5 days. Make sense? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Great. It is coming together, but once you get this part together, gentlemen, we can grow the chapter to hundreds of people, right? Because you have all these little buckets that you can delegate to people, and every time they work on it, it sort of adds to the greater fuel and fire of marketing. Let's say impressions. You can delegate right now, let's say impressions into so many categories. You can delegate somebody to do events, right? All right, I need you to create an event. And during the event, there's going to be outreach. Outreach will bring traffic onto the page. Okay? So that can be one particular category. You can do paid advertising. That's another way to do it. You can do social media. That's another way to do it. You can have all these different top of funnels bringing things in. Okay? And then once you have the top of funnel, then you have the middle funnel, which is now that you've created this event, how do you convert an event into leads? Right? Do you drop in a survey at the end? Do you ask for people to do you create a prize? Do you create whatever, right? How do you kind of squeeze the event into creating leads? If you have social media, how do you create the content that gets people to want to inquire, right? What is your headlines? What is your offer? What is your timing? Things like that. So there's a lot more you can do, but you got to kind of create the little packages, okay? Once you create the little package there, you give the package over to a new person. You say, all right, learn this skill, practice this skill, and then watch yourself get better at the skill looking at the number. And then when you ask them what they're doing, they should say, I'm converting impressions into leads, right? Not necessarily I'm using Instagram. Not necessarily I'm doing something else, right? I'm taking an input, I'm creating an output. That is what I do. Not I work on activity. That doesn't necessarily move anything forward. Okay, practice makes perfect. Let's do this. On Wednesday, show me something by Wednesday, okay? By Friday, I think we should be ready to go, but show me something by Wednesday. Your first attempt to create your own intern packages so that you can delegate these things. Your first attempt to move over marketing SLAs to the Trello board, okay? We can discuss, we can try to find ways to make it better, but by Friday, hopefully we have things that are ready, and then this then can be sent over to HR. And HR would know exactly what you would need and what you want to delegate because you have created your packages. For the moment, let's just call this a similar vocabulary. Let's call these internship campaign packages. Okay, so a package should have a KPI, a package should have a tutorial, what to do, and a package should have steps so that we can track progress and the person who's working on the package can also track progress. Okay? So make your own packages. Make packages that you'd like to delegate. Make packages that you'd like to aspire to, so that you can always rearrange. Right? Hey, you're really good at this. Can you show me how this is done? That could be one case of an aspire package, and then you can learn a skill that you don't have yet, which is actually kind of cool as well. Right? So it goes both ways with the selection of interns. And also, for the final time, we will actually know, and you can trust the person to do their job because you can see the progress on it by the time they actually finish their trials. Okay? Guess what? This doesn't apply just to interns. This also applies to people that you can bring on full time. So if you want to get a promotion, you have to delegate what you did before to somebody new so that you can work on the next thing. Okay? It's a good system no matter if it's an intern or a full-time hire. All right. Any other questions at this point?
For me, it's pretty clear, sir.
Great.
Yeah, pretty clear. Yeah.
Okay, great. Grace?
Yes.
On Grace's side?
Yes.
Pretty clear, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, Gani?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aldo?
All good for me, sir.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Oh, one more
Can you hear
thing.
me? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
okay. Remember, everyone, Grace could be your client for this particular package, right? So these things you have a subject here who you can test these out with, and that can be the very first test to see if your packages are making sense and actually do they actually work. Think about the user, right? As marketing. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's see. We have a few other discussion topics that I think we can take a look at, and let's see if we can get to them. Okay, let's see. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Delegation. Okay, so we've already had this discussion here. Um, the next discussion is two leads for Instagram. Oh, right. Gani, tell me a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about this new idea that you have.
Yeah, so basically, I just run the Instagram for sales tools, right?
Yeah.
For revenue, but uh, luckily, there is a two leads coming in. Which is I believe it's our guest photos and review, and then and they also get the long term partnership with us. So
Wow.
we start thinking of, okay, so what do we do now? How to expand our content? How to manage our content to be for the guest side and it attract the owner side as
Okay.
well.
That's fantastic. Very good. Thank you, Gani. I see Rizal has written some comments there, and I agree. I think this is actually pretty smart. You have discovered an opportunity. So this is the first part of leadership, Gani. Great job. The second thing is, I guess, how you want to prioritize this. Okay. So if you want to bring it up, I would suggest you create a campaign for this because it does look like could be useful for campaigning for market ready supply. The big question is how much do you want to prioritize it? Okay. If you want to really, really prioritize it, you need to really start thinking about the content and the profile strategy. Okay. Does this profile actually start then becoming a tool to acquire partnerships rather than guests? Because
Mm.
currently it's actually targeting guests. And it's unclear even at this point how useful it is for guests. Let's go over to results.
Okay. I think I think we can create basically like a KPI. So I just think like, oh, how many long we can get these two leads basically. Like if we can get these two leads on 2 months, so on the next pivot, so we can try. Okay, we want to try using managed priority content. Okay, let's try in 2 months. If it's have
Sorry, I don't
uh,
understand.
improvement, okay, we can create, we can make that as a best practice. But if it worse, okay, we go back with the previous, which is the previous content that only have 2 months with two partnership.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting idea. Does anybody else have any thoughts that they would like to add to Rizal? Aldo?
Yeah, yeah, I think from the leads itself, it's more of like an organic because they're coming like directly to us to direct message, but and it's not coming from. I don't know if it's coming from the content that we created, but yeah, I think we need to do some MVP first for the contents that for the supply side, and let's see if it's really working well with that content to the supply side itself.
Excellent. Okay, let's go over to Gunny. Gunny, the Instagram campaign right now is producing revenue, right? So there is some good demand side. There's proven demand side benefit from Instagram. So you kind of have a dilemma, okay? Which is you sort of have the problem that we talked about last time with what was it, Ferdy, and I think at the digital marketing eTalk 7. So the problem is every channel should be dedicated to one particular audience, okay? Just very simply put, you only have one profile link.
Mhm.
So if your profile link is long-term rentals or whatever, the deal of the month, then it is not manage my property. Now, this is a resource allocation problem, right? you could sort of do this. You could ask yourself, all right, if I have Instagram, you could switch it back and forward depending upon, let's say, the season or the timing. Maybe Monday to Friday, these are for owners. So you switch the profile link to something to manage my property. Or maybe, no, the opposite. Sorry, you would do the opposite, not Monday. You'd probably do Monday to Wednesday, and maybe Monday to Thursday for owners, post owner type content. Okay. And then maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, post guest content, and then you're probably gonna, you can probably time divide it. I'm thinking
Okay. Yeah.
your audience will probably activate at different times. Okay, your travel audience is probably gonna like not really think about things on Monday, but your owner audience might, because your owner audience will be experiencing checkouts on Monday, and they'll be like, "How do I get more guests?" Right? And but your traveler audience will probably not be thinking about travel until maybe Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, right? Typically for a trip. You could time divide your Instagram to fill two different audiences. It's maybe not ideal, but it could be done. The other strategy you could do is you could split it. You could create one Instagram for guests, one Instagram for owners. But some of the content you're going to notice needs to be shared. It also doubles your amount of bandwidth that you need to spend on two different channels. But if you delegate well, then it should not be a problem, right? Because a lot of people like to work on Instagram. We never have any shortage of people who like to work on Instagram, right? So that's pretty easy to delegate if you can set the correct content strategy. All right, you're gonna have to like massage that around your head a little bit and come up with a decision for what you want to do. You have discovered that it's kind of like you have a crab pot, right? You put out a trap to catch crab, but you're catching lobsters now. And you're starting to ask, maybe this crab pot is catching lobsters because I use this kind of bait. Maybe it's because I'm putting it in this part of the ocean. Maybe if I change the pot to a new shape, I will start catching more lobsters.
Mm.
If you fully decide to create a new lobster trap, then that would be the analogy to creating a new Instagram profile. You have now created a new specialized place that captures this type of audience that you can get. And it's not just bycatch, it's not just accidental catch. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Plan your resources though, and don't overextend. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Okay, but I think what Gani has done is really good. You've proven that it's possible to get partnerships through Instagram, which I never would have believed before.
Yes, me too, sir.
Yeah, I never would have believed. It's like putting out a crab trap and catching a whale. It's like what? How did the whale fit into the crab trap? So it's a good discovery, but you gotta make some decisions for where you want to take this so that the other team knows what you want to do. Okay. The next thing is okay. I think that's it. Bill, right? We need to track Bill because Bill's doing a good job, and we don't want him to get sad because he's not getting paid. Okay, so how are we? Still not being done. Okay, this needs to get done somewhere. Okay, between Guyana, Rizal, your team, Bill needs to get paid, and he's a freelancer. So we need to know how many market qualified leads he's bringing in. We need to know the total number of leads he's bringing in. Then Rizal will determine the total number of market quality leads that he brings in. Aldo will determine the total number of meetings that are qualified. Okay. And then Guyana will report on the total number of deals that we've gotten. Okay. Each time his stack should go over here to the ones that he's been paid for. And then actually you don't need not yet paid because that's just the difference, right? So whatever he's been paid for, we just tick the number and we count. And by the next iteration, we just pay for whatever is the difference again. Make sense? Okay. So this I need everyone here to just keep track. I believe, okay, you probably need one for Bill and you probably need one for Alberta too as well, right? Am I correct? Alberta, is that her name, Alberta?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so share this document with both Bill and Alberta. They will report the total number of leads. Rizal will always be the person counting the total MQLs, right? Aldo will always be the person counting the total number of meetings. You're going to have to keep track, Aldo, of which meeting's coming from who, unfortunately. You're going to have to figure out, is this Bill's lead? It should be easy, right? Because there should just be an identifier on the lead card. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you'll count how many meetings came.
Yeah, we already separated.
Okay, great. Okay, and then we pay Bill and Alberta based on these, and then that's simple. Okay, then that's pretty much it. And then Rizal. Okay, next one is yours. So tell us about this.
Yeah, that's basically a new partnership inquiry from our website.
Okay.
So basically, Master Key it's like us but in Korea.
Okay.
So they assume us is Bukit Vista is have a villa. So we have a full furnished villa. So they will manage like us in Bali basically. But I don't think it will be work because I don't know it's like we manage property owners villa and then if we consider this, so it's like they manage us manage a property management villa.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Doesn't make any sense. But
yeah.
I guess what's the opportunity, if there is any opportunity then? Let's go to Gunny.
I honestly I still doesn't know about master key at all, so I doesn't see the opportunity yet.
Okay. Aldo, what do you think the opportunity is?
I think the opportunity itself is that our website, particularly Manage My Property, is also attract this corporate company. So I think maybe if there's some opportunity that we could use for the corporate company
Okay.
for our own benefits, I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Oh, wow. They only have one villa in Bali. Okay. How about in Cebu? All right, let's go to Grace. Grace, what kind of opportunity do you see here?
Well, actually, in the message, there are sentence that states we would like to offer more properties for rent or transactions to our clients.
Mhm.
So there are opportunity for long-term rentals.
Sure. Okay. Don't assume use data. I just took a look at their website. You guys saw the website with me. Rizal, what do you see on their website?
From their website is okay. They have a partnership with property owners in some cities in Southeast Asia, and then they manage booking, managing properties. Um, yeah, but there's only one villa in Bali. So okay, so I think is we can put a backlink on that on their website.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. Okay, if we get some backlink on their website. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bringing this in. I know partnerships isn't really part of our ZPD, but from looking at this, this is kind of like when you have nothing and you're asking for how would I say? This would be like us asking. We do this sometimes, right? This would probably be like us 5 years ago asking a backlink from Elite Havens.
Hmm.
They have nothing, right? They have no prop. They have one property in Bali. They have one property, no properties in Bangkok. They have one property in Cebu. They have one property in Koh Samui, and they have one property in Phuket. So they're basically a shell site. They don't have a platform because they don't have anything in the platform, right? So there's not too much benefit from partnering with somebody who doesn't have, let's say, partnerships work best from higher to lower, right? Not from lower to higher. It's a little bit like dating, right? If you have all your shit together, and somebody who doesn't have their shit together wants to date you, you can be like, nope, not interested, right? But if you guys are on equal terms, that makes it a little bit more interesting. So in this particular case, there's not too much we can gain by having a partnership with somebody who has no network and no supply and not very clear demand. Remember, a platform is a two-sided thing. If you have no supply, you have no demand. Nobody goes shopping on a site with no options. So we can probably assume that they are trying to get their cycle started by getting supply onto the platform. Okay? And there's no reason we should partner with somebody like that at the moment. So this is probably not a good partnership. Now, if Sonder came over and wanted to partner with us, that would be a different story, right? Because Sonder has access to supply we have not access to, and Sonder most likely also has access to med that we have no access to. That fundamentally, business-wise, is the only two reasons why you would want to partner with another property management company. Can you sell their listings through your channel, and can they sell your listings through their channel? That's pretty much it. If you can, you have the basis of a good partnership. If not, then no. It's they're just borrowing your supply so that they can get their snowball started. There's no reason to do that, especially since they most likely will be your competitor later on anyway, because they are operating in the same region. So no deal. But if you do see a big company that is in a very different category, that's in a different region of the world, then there could be some partnership opportunities in that segment. Okay, that was the partnership between Airbnb and luxury retreats. Luxury retreats only did luxury. Airbnb did no luxury, so that was actually pretty smart. That was well, it was until it didn't work out eventually, but theoretically it could have worked, right? Okay, that's pretty much it then. Let's see if there's any other discussion topics that we need to cover. I think we have it. Okay, so in this particular case, Gani, we'll say no, right, in master key, but this is okay. Fail fast, Rizal. Bring whatever partnership opportunities up. We'll have discussions about it. We'll all learn together what is a good partnership and what is not. But this one, I would say yes. It's most likely a competitor. It's a platform, and they're searching for content. We don't want to give them the content that we spent 6-7 years working on, right? If they want that, they can go get that themselves. So that's essentially the takeaway there. All right, conclusion there. Wednesday, let's see the packages ready by Wednesday. Or your first iterations of the packages on Wednesday, and then we'll see progress by Friday next week. Okay, let's see. That's it. Anybody else have any other things to talk about? Good.
I already attached my opinion on the result set, but I think we already
Oh, right here, right? Oh, I forgot. Sorry. This one, right?
Yes, sir.
Do we have time?
So
Oh,
we already ran out, so we can continue it on Monday.
okay. Let's continue this discussion on Monday then, which is just 2 days away. I think that's good. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Gani. Thank you very much, Grace, Rizal, Aldo. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.